Okay, now we're moving on to the actual step where we input the data into SAS so that we can then evaluate it. And so I've opened SAS already, and I'm going to create my new library here, which I'm going to call SAS Data. And I'm going to point this to my new SAS data. Here we go. Data. I would like to save this file, this new data set, to the SAS data folder, which is contained in the libraries right here. And let's call it scores. And let's call this one scores 1 actually. So that's the first thing. This is telling SAS what library or folder to save it to, and this is telling SAS what I'd like to name it. If I didn't want to save it permanently and just wanted to save it in the work folder, which is over here, I would just omit the SAS data dot scores 1, excuse me, the SAS data dot, and leave it as scores 1. But I do want to save it, and so let's do this. The first thing that I'll do is an input statement. That's going to tell SAS what variables I'll be inputting. And so let's start off with one that says that describes the gender, and here gender is going to be male or female. It's non-numerical, and so we'll put a $sign to indicate that. And let's say that the score of the first test is going to be one variable, and then the score of a second test. And you can see there are no spaces, by the way. That's something good to learn. It's score 2. You can't have spaces in your variable names. And then let's do something that says honors students or not, and that's going to be a yes or a no, and so that's enough for now, I think. And here we're going to do next a data lines statement, and we'll say the first student is male. Oops, I didn't put my semicolon. It takes a semicolon there. This little yellow highlighting is how you can tell if you're in the data input stage. So the score on the first test, let's say that's a 76, then we get an 81, and let's say that this person, yes, is in honors. We don't do semicolons after we've put in lines of data. Then the second person is a female, let's say an 82 and a 78 and a no, and another female here, let's say a 91, 95, yes, an honors student, and another is a male who gets an 87 and a 74 is not an honors student, and then one more, male, 85, a 56, not an honors student. And then we do a semicolon. Note where I've placed the semicolon. The semicolon doesn't go in your block of data. So we're going to run this program, and so you can see our first column, we've told SAS to take the first column and treat this as the variable gender, and the second column is score, third column, excuse me, score 1, third column is score 2, and the fourth column is honors. And so let's run this and see how we do. And I'm going to check the log first, and it looks good. I'm sorry, I have some old log stuff in there. Let me freshen that up here. I did that by pressing Control N on the log screen. And so here we go. It says it comes in just fine, basically. And so let's check SAS data for scores 1 and honors. You know, you can see that our data came in properly. So just to show you really quickly what can happen, let me delete this stuff. Let's fail to put the $sign there and run this, and we're going to get an error here. Invalid data for gender. And so what this SAS is telling us, hey, you know, you told me this was numerical data, it's not, and so it's not going to read this data in properly. You can see we just get nothing for gender, so we must put the $sign in there. And let's try this again. And that's no problem. So you could imagine, now if we wanted to add another variable, let's say to our data here, we could say that, let's call this the sum score equals score 1 plus score 2. That's easy enough, but notice that we put that up above the data line statement. And so here we go, sum of the scores. And so let's just for fun, let's even add an average. Average score equals, now we can refer to sum score, so sum score divided by 2. Oops, semicolon. Alright. And so this average is, there. So you've added 2 new variables so far. Okay, and in addition, let's go ahead and drop in one more variable here, and I'm showing you some of these because this is the simplest case, I think, when we have data line entry, direct entry method. It's easy. I think it's easiest to learn. But anyway, let's take a look. If so, this is an if-then variable. If let's see, AVG score is greater than or equal to 90, then our new variable name is going to be top student equals, and we put in quotes. If this were not numerical, we wouldn't have a need to do this. Else top student, which is our new variable, equals no, semicolon. So let's run this and see what happens, see if things go as I hope they will. And so this is a new if-then, a new variable that's value is an if-then else statement. And so let's take a look here. So top student, no, no, yes, no, no. Things worked as we thought they should. We only have one student with a score, average score greater than 90, and the rest do not. And so that just shows you, this sky is the limit on how much you can do once you learn some of these basic things, basic ways to add variables, and that gives you a good idea of the. I think it's relatively easy to name, to create a data set and then add new variables. And so I think we'll stop here and pick up in the next section on the SAS data step, which is what we're studying right now. We'll pick up where we left off here, which is beginning to pull data in from outside sources.